Hi, Mike here again. This is the fourth in a series, or fifth, because part two was two videos, so this is the fifth video with the fourth part of new ideas for for the candidates for president or Congress or whoever, what they should advance so that they can actually have some vision and new ideas rather than writing on their resumes. If they had a way, if the infrastructure were there to run for office and for free, essentially, and saying and getting internet signatures, internet supporters as a way to get nominated and have internet voters vote for you, that's why I ran twice, but it was not full on running. It was using their platform to get my ideas out. So those who thought I was crazy, well, yes, I am, but not, crazy like a fox. So yeah. So anyway, this is the fourth part and the fifth video, and we're talking about global warming, which is kind of part of the first, but it's also it's a sciencey one. So we talked about how to organize science in part three. This is what to do with organized science as a department of science, and to put it in the research in one place, and then let the states and employers take care of actually implementing it. This is the kind of thing a department of science would do. So let me tell you how global warming is a fact. It's not a theory anymore. Scientists like to do intuition. They're intuitive people, and they have an image of what reality is. It's not a sensory image; it's an abstract image, and people think, "Oh, it's just probabilities." No, it's eventually it gets to something where they know what's really happening. And warming, we've gotten to that point. It's not a probable thing anymore, and you can go outside and see that it's here. And you could do that last year. You could do that in 2016. You'll be able to do it next year and the year after that. So if it keeps happening like this, if 2 out of every 3 years is a record year, it's kind of saying something. But anyway, here's the mechanics of it. So we burn gasoline. We've been burning gasoline for about 70 years. We have found out through measuring the ocean, that this particular ocean it's the only body of water next to the Arctic Ocean. It's called Barents Sea. And Barents Sea, since 1980, it's been going up 4 degrees Celsius every decade since 1980, which is 70 degrees Fahrenheit. But if global warming is caused mainly by gasoline-powered cars, then it's probably 70 degrees, because we started cars in the 40s, 50s, and they ramped up. But it's gone from a very cold and frozen lake to just a normal sea to a kind of warm sea. And what's happened is that at warm sea, which is the only body of water that touches the Arctic Ocean, has mixes with the Arctic Ocean. I mean, it does that anyway. But now it's mixed to such an extent that the Arctic Ocean and the Arctic generally does not function as an air conditioner for the North. The reason it's so hot is because we have reached the breaking point, the tipping point. They talk about the tipping point. Net zero will save us from the tipping point. No, it hasn't. It's not 2030. It's not 2100. It's now, and it's been now for about almost a decade. And we now know why, because Barents Sea got heated. We know how Barents Sea got heated, because the carbon from mainly gasoline, coal somewhat, but coal, blocks the soot, blocks the sun, so it's more neutral. But it's the gasoline that captured the carbon. I've been told by my sciencey friends that, and also the University of YouTube, that we're at actually a cooling cycle. We should be getting colder every year, and we're getting warmer. Kudos to us for stopping an ice age. Pity for us because we've broken the air conditioner. So what happens is the Pacific Ocean gets, and the South Atlantic, the water goes to, the trade winds carry the heat from the South Atlantic to the Pacific, and then the Pacific over to the North America. And then here's what's the problem. The Rocky Mountains take the water out. So you've got hot, dry air that can take a lot more heat. So this hot, dry air moves across the United States. It's hot. And it's not wet. And because it's not wet, it doesn't dissipate. It doesn't fall as much. So, the northern latitudes would kind of cool it and make it condense in clouds and all that. Not getting that now. We've got these high pressure areas and heat bubbles. So this area goes across the heat bubble, goes over the Atlantic, picks up more water and more heat from the North Atlantic, and then it rains on, and then it, heats up Barents Sea. Not just rain, but just surface temperature. So we know how it works. It's not like, well, it's probabilistic and all this, and it might happen and it might not. Maybe the Arctic Ocean will melt and do the sea levels. That's none of that's important. What's important is heat, Pacific, and it's from the other oceans too. Drops its moisture. We know this happens. People have measured it accurately. Hot air crosses, picks up more warmth, reflected warmth from the oceans in the Atlantic, and it's already hot. It's getting hotter. Drops it on Barents Sea. Barents Sea warms the Arctic, and the air conditioner is broken. Now, here's the thing. Net zero is not going to solve this. 70 years. 70 years of warming at 7 degrees per decade. 50 degrees essentially has heated a sea that's essential to helping the Arctic cool or not get hot. We have broken the air conditioner. It's not doubtful. It's not a theory. It's fact. We can connect the dots. We can follow the air. We can follow the heat. And the Southwest is going to be a ghost town. Not this year. People are still buying. I think. Maybe not even. People are going to be selling and moving north. Except the Midwest is as bad. Hell, Washington, D.C. is as bad. Not as much, because, the Appalachians, it channels some of the air around, and, and we got some of the moisture, but, it goes, it passes the Alleghenies, and the Alleghenies aren't really, the Appalachian Mountains, Alleghenies are not really tall enough to, have to suck out all the moisture. Not that there is any moisture, and it doesn't stop the hot air. We know where the air how the air is warmed. We know how it gets to Barents Sea. We know what it does when it gets to Barents Sea. And all the shaming about carbon neutrality, and all the moral virtue, the virtue shaming of I'm off grid. I've got my windmill, and I've got my net zero house. You've got a car. Sorry, dude. No virtue there. If you still drive an automobile, So what's the answer? Over a long period of time, we need to have a system that's of electric cars, not the lithium-ion things, which are an environmental disaster, and they're also not affordable by the poor. And we need to have everybody, including the poor, be able to move by vehicle, by private car, preferably in a centrally controlled computer. Not by autopilot. It doesn't work. You hit people, you hit trees, all kinds of things. It's never going to be that good. If you're hooked onto a limited access roadway where there's no pedestrians and everything's on the system, then you can get in your car or get a system car. Not that you own it. have it pick you up, take you to the bus stop, because people hate walking to the bus stop. They hate waiting for the bus. They don't mind the train so much. But we're at, that first 100 yards is what makes people want to drive cars, and the fact that you have to wait a long time. If you stop the waiting, had a system vehicle take you to where you're going to get transit, or take you all the way to work, and then drive it, or your own car, drive itself home, so you don't have to park it. Takes care of the congestion, the parking congestion, but mainly it would take you in a city to a station. You get on your train or your mega bus or whatever, and you go to work. You come back. Car's waiting for you. You call ahead, have your car drive itself, pick you up. Commuters do this all the time, but they have spouses to do that, or children. If the car can come by itself because it's computer controlled, then you take the car home. It solves that 100-yard problem, and it solves the battery problem. So what do you do? You have a tethered electric vehicle. You have tethered electric buses now, tethered electric trains now. Trolley things and wire and have a Trump thing. But they can be owned by the cooperative employer or by just the normal capitalist employers. You can have a system where the car providers have a share in your local transportation system. The government does. The local employers do, because they get the benefit of people driving to work. So you'd have one system, pays for itself through the electric fee. You put your credit card number in and to your own car or the system car, and it takes you. And there's no fuel taxes. There's no fuel. You pay for the electricity. It funds the system. It funds the roads. It funds the roof over the roads. It funds the small modular nuclear reactors, which is a thing. It's a new thing. So you don't have to worry about processing the waste on site, or any large fuel leak or radiation leak. You just pick the reactor up, put another reactor in, take it to a central place where then you change the fuel, and it's as easy and as safe as we do now, without all the building permits and with all we inspect every well now in nuclear power plants. That's why they take so long, because you have to inspect everything twice or once even, x-ray it, all that. Stop doing that. Build small modular reactors. Forget about wind, forget about solar, because they're not reliable. Small modular reactors are reliable. They can't make much pollution. You can hook them up to a tethered system with a roofed, grass-covered roof deck, put up walls that are retractable, and make sure there's no people on them, and never cancel school, never cancel work, unless there's a pandemic. And I think we've beat that one, because we've all got the antibodies against that kind of cold that's a megavirus, so we can't get that megavirus again that causes respiratory failure. It's not just a cold. SARS is dead. We've killed it by getting it. And it's going around, since that's probably it. And we stopped warming the planet. In about 50 years, the natural cooling that's going on in the Malkinov cycle, that's just what's leading us toward it. This is the Ice Age cycle. Where we should be cooling. The real cooling will, if we stop heating, the real cooling will come in, but it's going to take decades. And, people are dying more when people stop being able to sell their houses in Arizona when they move north, or to wherever they can go. Then when you can't sell your house, that's when people are going to panic and say, we want this. That's coming. That's coming real soon. So if you can sell your house in Arizona or Southern California or Texas, sell it now. You can't sell it in 2 years. You may not even sell it next year. So sell it now and move, because otherwise you're just going to be able to abandon it. And you have no capital. So yeah, do it now and demand it now. And that's it.